Good afternoon, hello, my name is Daniel, this is the TriathlonDan YouTube channel, but you'll be very glad to know that today's video is not about me, it's about this guy. Good afternoon, Paul.
Hey Dan.
How you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Good stuff, right. So Paul and I have actually come out on a bike ride tonight to settle some beef, haven't we, Paul?
Settle a beef, let's do it, come on.
We've both been posting on the internet, claiming that we're both doing the hardest triathlon in the world. Now they can't both be the hardest, so we've come out tonight to decide, well in fact you can decide in the comment section down below who's doing the hardest triathlon. Now, we are going to talk more about the reasons why Paul's doing his event and some of the things he's got going off behind the scenes. But first of all, we'll just go through a bit of a top trumps, Paul. How about that?
Let's do it. What are we starting with, the run or the swim?
Well, that's my first point. Right, let's start with the swim. My swim's a 2.4 mile open water swim.
I could trump that, Dan.
Okay.
It's a 21 mile and that's the shortest distance across the English Channel.
Now you say that, but it's non-wetsuit, isn't it, yours?
It's non-wetsuit as well. That makes it harder.
Well, no, but you know how difficult getting a wetsuit on is? It takes me like 20 minutes.
But it's going to keep you warm and you keep your legs in the air, so.
Right, so let us know your thoughts down below. Onto the bike. Mine's 115 miles and there's a few hills in it.
I've got you again, Dan. Oh. It's 181 miles from Calais to Paris.
And you're riding on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And it's probably going to be through the middle of the night by that point.
Yeah. All right then, finally, I feel like we're pretty much evens until this point.
You feel like we're evens?
Yeah.
I'm two up, I'm definitely two up.
Onto the run then, Paul, what does yours involve?
It's an 87-mile run from the Marble Arch to Dover.
Mine's just a marathon, but it does involve going up and down Mount Snowdon.
Yeah, so that's going to be a good effort, Dan.
Which I won't be running it. Anyway, let us know your thoughts down below. Paul, let's pull over in a minute and let's talk about the reasons why you're doing it.
Let's do it.
So we're actually about an hour and a half into this ride, so we figured we should probably stop and talk about what you're doing this weekend, Paul, because it's coming around pretty quick, isn't it?
It's been a dead nice ride so far, Dan.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Not a problem at all. Barbados, sun's always shining. So shall we start with, first of all, a bit about who you are, what have you done in the past?
Yeah.
You know, tell us who Paul is.
So yeah, Paul Robinson from Leeds originally, you can tell by the accent. I've been doing triathlon since I was 9, so 31 years. Started off, I think it was Ilkley Triathlon, a little sprint distance in Yorkshire. And then I've just built up over the years, done half Ironman, done some channel swimming, dabbled with ultra running.
Done some channel swimming, as you do.
Well, I started with channel swimming with a relay in 2010, 3-man relay, enjoyed that. And I knew I wanted to do it solo, so in 2012 I did a 2-man. That was worse than solo. Because you're getting in and out every 2 hours and then you're on the boat for 2 hours trying to eat and drink. So. And then I tried to do some ultra running, but I'm packing a bit too much for ultra running.
Running's difficult, isn't it? It's all about efficiency.
So some of those daft 24-hour events, you know, where you run 10k loops.
Yeah, like backyard ultras, that sort of thing.
Yeah. The Thunder Run, and then I always had this arch to arc at the back of my mind. So I was like, if I can do ultra running, do a channel swim, right, I can do the arch to arc.
It's that scale, is it? Oh, if I can do that, I can do that. And that line just keeps moving further and further, doesn't it?
So it was a bit of stepping stones, and I think I saw arch to arc on TV in 2012, a guy called Mark Bayliss doing it. And then I've waited, 12 years, and now I'm at the start line almost.
Good. So it's the Enduroman Arc to Arch, and just explain what that is. I know we've touched on the distances and how they're similar to what I'm doing.
So the Arch to Arc is from London to Paris, the Marble Arch, 87-mile run to Dover, and then you swim the English Channel, 21 miles, and then you hop on the bike to finish 181 miles to Paris Arc de Triomphe.
And not a huge amount of people have done it, have they?
So 50, I think it's just ticks up to 59 people have done it, and then there's 6 without a wetsuit.
Only 6?
Only 6, so...
And when you swam the channel, did you do that non-wetsuit?
I did that non-wetsuit, yes.
Is that in the channel swimming world, is that the only way it's like accepted?
Kind of is, yeah. They're trying to upload the history of like, I think it was Captain William Webb, some Navy captain, did it originally in some crappy Speedos and probably not even using goggles, so they're just trying, you know, you can spread yourself in fat for some warmth, and only one swim hat, you're not allowed any neoprene, so the Channel Swimming Pilot Federation just trying to uphold that tradition, so no wetsuits allowed. Right.
So Hoob have partnered with you for this event and support you doing, which is awesome.
Thank you.
So what's your like one piece of swim equipment that you've chosen? I bet Dean's fuming because you could have had all this fancy wetsuit stuff, couldn't you?
So Dean has been very kind. cycling gear. So I'm not really a big cyclist. I've done triathlons, but not my biggest discipline. So he's given me a load of cycling gear, thank you, Dean. But swimming wise, I've got some jammers, colourful jammers.
I've seen those. They're the Tour of Britain Splash limited edition, aren't they?
So everybody's loving them at the club.
Are they the ones you're going to swim in then, do you think?
Yeah, but I've lost a bit of weight now. So Dean, I could do with a size down now. I'm not an extra large anymore.
Good stuff. I'll have them.
And then running gear, I've got, hoop gear. So it's an 87-mile run, so I'll be changing often.
Plenty of Vaseline. So talk me through your motivation for doing this event, because there's also a very big charitable fundraising side to it as well, isn't there?
Yeah, so the guy that I'm raising money for, Sam Perkins, is a local triathlete.
Lots of you watching this might know him, and I've been aware of him through the outlaw scene and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so there's a few links for me, really. There's the Leeds Rhinos link. I grew up watching Rob Burrow, Kevin Sinfield, so we've all heard about M&D and what they've done to raise money for the cause over the years. And then became aware of Sam Perkins, local to us in Nottinghamshire, Derbyshire area, and he's come hit with this at 37. He's a similar age to me.
He was an athlete, wasn't he? And
awesome athlete, done the outlaw many times, and you get hit by it, and I've met the guy now, he's still a bubbly, fun character. He was taking the mickey out of the Derby Rams cameraman, chanting Reds at him through his computer. So it's a horrible disease. He's trapped in his own body. His body can't do what he wants to do anymore.
It's degenerative, isn't it? So it just gets worse and worse.
The fact that he's using his final years to raise money for research into MND, I just find it inspirational that he's got that strength of mind. So it kind of links in with what I'm doing, on the triathlon side of things. It's not just a physical task that I'm doing, getting from London to Paris. It's you got to be mentally strong. So that's the connection that I feel like I got with Sam. And it was quite funny walking around his house and chatting with him. There was other random things where we just connected. So he likes a glass of cognac, which I was like, this is unbelievable. What the hell? And we just had many things in common. So really passionate. We're trying to raise £10,000 for research into MND, and we're about halfway there now.
So when you go out for a bike ride and you stop and you have a fancy coffee and stuff, put that on the Just Giving link in the description down below, because it would go a long way to try and find a cure for MND.
Thank you very much, everyone who's donated so far.
Awesome. So training wise, this is race week, so you feel like you're there? You certainly put the work in.
I just can't wait to get to the race now. I just hate this tapering period.
We've both been riding tonight thinking, right, don't crash, don't get ill, don't just wrap yourself in bubble wrap this week. And you said you're feeling okay tonight, aren't you?
I feel really good. That's what you want to feel like in tapering. I feel fresh.
Of course it is.
Felt like that in the pool as well last night, just cruising. So training wise, I think I added up, I've done 650 kilometres in the last 48 weeks, 650 kilometres of swimming.
Wow.
5,000 kilometres of cycling, and 2,500 kilometres of running in the last 48 weeks.
Tell us a bit about you've done a couple of event specific weekends and things, haven't you? So tell us about a couple of those that you've done.
So the biggest one I did was Windermere weekend. I went up with a team of people. Talk about this as a solo event, but it's a team event. So we went up there, ran 70 kilometres on the Saturday, and then built in the same gap that I'm going to have on the Arch to Arch, so about 10 hours where you'd eat, drink, get 5-6 hours kip, get up the following morning and then swim. We didn't quite swim 2 lengths of Windermere. So 27 kilometre swim in Windermere, which was 9.5 hours swimming, and then hopped on the bike. And that was a learning for us, because I hopped on the bike and I felt absolutely terrible for the first hour. Kept getting fluids in and some food, and felt okay. So that was a really solid training weekend we did about a month ago. Quite important prep. And
I see things because you're not allowed to touch the boat, are you?
No.
The channel, you're in there on your own. So taking a bottle, somebody can't hand it you, can they? It has to be on a string so that you're not using them for any buoyancy. You were doing that on your test weekend,
we
weren't you?
Things like that. A little kid's fishing net. They were handing me half a banana in a fishing net. Throwing the bottle over attached to a reel, and just practicing things like that, because in the middle of the channel the currents are moving that quickly. When you're stopping, treading water and feeding, you're drifting. You're drifting sideways or even backwards. So trying to feed in 30 seconds every half an hour.
What also surprised you about training for this specific event? Because you've done the channel swim before. It doesn't make it any easier, does it? But you know what you're signing up for. What about the rest of it?
The running is the bit that scares me. So the channel, you're right, I've done that before. I feel like I can get across, but the run, to run 87 miles and feel all fresh at the end of it, that's what we've really been working on, especially through the winter when I couldn't do any of the open water swimming. So The coach has been, shout out to JC, he's been making me do run-walk strategy. So a lot of building up to like 50-mile run walk, so 50 minutes of running, 5 minutes of walking, and then your feet eating and drinking constantly.
I did see in one of your previous videos, you'd gone in for like a coaching catch-up, and he said to you, I don't think I'm going to do something like this again. So I think you might have finished him off, and you're a particularly demanding athlete to coach or something.
He says that I'm very needy, so I don't know what that means. And he said that it was the last time that he was going to do this, but I've already heard that he might do it again.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, how can people follow along with what you're doing then?
So most of my stuff's been posted on Instagram on Arch2Arc Journey.
I'll leave a link down below.
Yeah. And posting on there and taking after you, Dan. I'm doing a couple of, been inspired by you and doing a couple of YouTube. I'm a wannabe Dan.
Go and give him a subscribe. That's what you have to say.
I've got 8 viewers and 7 of them are my mom.
Yeah, well, that's the same for me. I've got Liz hitting refresh every 10 seconds. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming out for a ride tonight. We'll do a few more miles. If we think of anything else to talk about, we will do. But give it a follow. What an awesome challenge. The Arc to Arch is something that within my group of friends, it's been battered around, but nobody's ever been like, yeah, I can do that. So it's definitely not been pointed at me, but there's a couple in the group who are interested. So when you've done it, I'm sure we'd love to tweet your brains over a curry or something just to find out exactly how it went.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. Cheers, see you soon.